call it all-wheel drive when they don't use all the wheels all the time? Hi, hey, hello. Welcome back to Learn with Hana. And on today's episode, we'll be talking about what's the difference between a four-wheel drive and an all-wheel drive. And both of them don't use all four wheels all the time. Why? Essentially, they're the same because both drivetrain allows you to drive all four wheels at the same time. It's just that for four-wheel, it's an accepted definition for when you decide to engage the four-wheel drive. And all-wheel drive, the car decides for you whenever there's a loss of traction. So let's start with the four-wheel drive. And as I mentioned, the four-wheel drive is when you decide when to engage four wheels. So most modern pickup trucks and large SUVs will have this rotary dial inside where you can decide between three modes. 2H, which is basically when you're on flat land, tarmac, when you don't really need much grip. 4H is when you start to get a little bit bumpy. And then follow when it's like extreme bumpiness and mud. So the pros and cons with this kind of drivetrain is, for the pros, it's durable, so it can handle extreme terrain. So this is what you use when you are going off-roading, like if you're going to the jungle. And the cons, because it's a very complex drivetrain, it has a lot of components in it, so it's heavier. So it will use a lot more fuel. And people don't like fuel guzzlers. And finally, the last con is, it depends on who you are. It might not be a con, it might be a pro. It's that you need experience because you will have to decide between the three modes. Okay, let's knock out the 2H lah because we are talking about four-wheel. So you have to decide between the 4 low and the 4 high. And you need experience to know at which point do you need to change between 4 high and 4 low. So you have to stop and look at the terrain and feel, I need more traction. So I'm going to switch to 4 low. So yes, you need experience to drive a four-wheel drive. Some typical examples of vehicles that use four-wheel drive are trucks like the Mitsubishi Triton, the Isuzu D-Max, and the Ford Ranger. For large SUVs, there's only pretty much one that's currently selling, I think, which is the Toyota Fortuner. So now that we know what four-wheel drives are, let's get back into all-wheel drive. And like I mentioned, all-wheel drive is when the car decides for you. It's intelligent enough to detect when there's loss of traction and distribute power accordingly. So for example, if you go over a puddle where one wheel starts to lose a bit of traction, the car will detect that and send power to all the wheels that have traction so that you will not slip off, slip out. In most cases, there's no button or a rotary dial that you need to rotate to activate the all-wheel drive system because the car will do everything for you. But some manufacturers like Range Rover have given you the option to decide what kind of terrain you're going on. So for example, if you're going onto some sandy beach, you can press on the sand option and the car will decide what it should do in order to go through some sandy beach. So for the pros and cons of an all-wheel drive, the pros is that it's intelligent, so you don't need experience to drive an all-wheel drive car. It uses less hardware compared to the four-wheel drive, so it's lighter, and this is good for fuel economy. And it's safer on regular road conditions, like just your regular drives. If it's raining, you definitely have more grip compared to a two-wheel drive car. It's quieter and more refined, which is something you definitely would want in a car on your day-to-day drives. As for cons, because it's a simpler system compared to a four-wheel drive system, it's not as robust. And because of this, it's not so capable for extreme off-roading. So some examples for all-wheel drive systems are the Audi Quattro system, the BMW X Drives, the Mercedes 4MATIC, and the Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive system. So there you have it. And until next time, leave a comment below on the side wherever you're watching this to let us know where have you taken your car. Have you ever taken maybe even your Saga off-roading? Let us know. Oh, and also like and subscribe. Like I said, it's my job. So yeah.